Go outside. Hi, I'm Mr. Johnson, and I'm here to talk about our contour drawing outdoor project. So take your sketchbook, something to draw with, and get outside. All right, so here are some things that we're going to talk about before we start doing this drawing. We are looking for contour lines. So a contour is the edge of something. Contour drawings use lines to show the edges of an object. Lines can also describe texture or patterns found in those objects, and contour drawings never use shading. So remember, only line drawings. They do include detail, but there is no shading, and you are drawing only what you can see. So, what are some examples of these outdoor contour line drawings? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Let's look. This is a beautiful version of an outdoor contour line drawing. This was done by a professional artist, and it shows right the front of this house and a mailbox, trees in the front yard, some trees in the distance, the ground, this walkway, a little fence, siding. So look how detailed it is. It's gorgeous, and it's all done with lines. Even what looks like shading, either in the leaves of the trees up in the front or on the ground here, are just lines that are closer together. So this is a beautiful version of an outdoor contour line drawing. So here's what you're going to be doing for this assignment. You're going to be going outside, finding a cool view with an interesting subject, and then drawing everything in that scene. So if the subject here is the house, they're also including the mailbox, the trees, the ground, because you can see that. That's what fits on the plane of the paper. So here's one that's done in pencil. This is a beautiful example of something, from a walk, either in a park or in a downtown street. And they've chosen this spot where you get this path here on the bottom that leads down in the distance. There's trees set up. There's the stone bench, some wooden benches, lamp posts in it. And you can tell they've included a ton of detail. What I love about this one, though, is that they did not try to draw individual leaves on the trees. That takes forever. Instead, they've just drawn the outlines where clumps of leaves appear on the trees. They've also used outlines here to show where a bush or something is on the side of this path. They're not drawing every branch. But what they have included are enough details to make this a very clear, believable space. So I'll show you a few of them. We'll watch a live demonstration, and then we'll talk about exactly what you need to do. Again, these are really detailed. Yours does not have to be as detailed as any of these. But what a beautiful view of this, again, this outside of a house with all of these plants, the bird bath, the hose, trees, the window shutters, and these vines growing up the siding, these brick pavers, grass, leaves in the distance. Beautiful examples. Now, I don't expect that much detail from you, but I do want you to see what you can do with this type of prompt. Now, here's one again that an artist is just doing in their sketchbook using only lines. I love this example because the artist here is using lines to create value. So it looks like it's shaded, but when you look up close to it, all the artist has done is just made sets of parallel lines. It's called hatching, and they've done that to delineate the roofs of some of these buildings, this fence up front. But what a beautiful outdoor drawing. Here's a great one. This is more like what I would expect to see from my students during an outdoor contour drawing. They've chosen a subject. These are steps up on the side of their house. They've done wood grain texture in the stairs. They've drawn in the brick pattern, right? They have these vertical bricks in this stripe and then horizontal bricks above it and below it. And then they've also drawn in the outlines for some of the plants that they can see. This is a perfect example of an outdoor contour drawing. So there are a couple of tips that will help you to make these drawings successful. The first one is make sure your objects overlap. Things that are closer to you should overlap the things that are farther away. So right now my hand is closer to the camera than my face and my body are. So my hand is overlapping this part of my face and my body because it's closer to you. This seems so obvious, but often in a drawing, you don't see everyone doing this, especially students who may be just starting out drawing. So what that means is that if this tree here is overlapping this garage, the garage is going to continue on both sides of the tree, but the tree is going to be in front of it. You're using only lines to add detail. So we're not doing any shading or any color or anything like that, only lines. So they have here attempted to show patterns on the houses and a little bit on the steps in the bottom, but again, just hatching lines. Now again, objects closer to you are larger and usually closer to the bottom. So just think as you are walking down the street, the things that are closest to you, the road, are at the bottom of your vision. And things that are farther away, as you go down the road, are higher up in your vision. So in your drawing, in this example, these steps and these bushes and these rocks are the closest thing to the viewer. They are largest and they are at the bottom. Then there are things that are farther away, like these trees. They are a little smaller and they are in the center. And then the house that is farthest away is really small in the drawing, and the other objects overlap it. Objects farther away are smaller and higher up. Hopefully these tips will really help you. So let's watch an artist do this, shall we? I think we shall, because I have control.
Okay, guys, so we're here on the video to explain the one-line contour landscape / outdoor drawing. You're going to be doing this in one line only. And for this one, I want you to step outside and draw what you see outside.
Yes.
It could be your backyard. It could be any type of outdoor scene would be fine. But you got to do this from observation, not from imagination. Let me remind you that we're doing these exercises again to look at, to really learn how to observe and see the truth of the shape of the objects. Remember, whenever we draw, we look at lines and shapes of objects. And if we can do that, we can draw pretty much anything.
Absolutely.
In this particular view that you have, you're going to be able to see some trees, maybe a little bit of that wall, the fence. And I think I'm going to try to draw part of my kids' playground. So again, this is just a quick demo on how to do this. All right, so I'm going to focus on the edge of the slide that you see down there. So I'm going to start on the slide, and I'm going to start on my drawing towards the left because I don't want to include the entire playground, just that part. And this is the left part of the slide. Once my pen comes down to the paper, I'm going to leave it on there. I'm not going to erase it up anymore. So here I go. I'm going to look at the curves. And as my eye sees it, I record it. Okay. This is the yellow part. I can see the yellow part now, following the same curves. There are some screws here, so I'm going to add them. And here is the other green part, and this is the edge that I can see. Okay, now I'm going to finish some of that treehouse. So here is going to be the wooden part of the treehouse that I can see. Here is, here the camera person can every once in a while just focus also on the treehouse so they can see what I'm drawing. Okay. And here is, again, very important, as your eyes see the object, record it. Remember that you're not looking for perfection. This does not have to be a perfect drawing.
Not at all.
You are doing this as an exercise to make your observational skills sharper. What's really there? Okay. See a couple of screws here, and some little windows. I'm not throwing those windows in there. Okay, here's a window. Another one. Window. Notice how fast I'm going. It doesn't have to be terribly slow. Remember, you don't have to focus on every single little detail. And I picked up my pen. I should not have done that, but my glasses were falling. Sorry. At this point, I'm going to focus on the tree that is on the right-hand side of the tree house. If you can see them. So I'm going to stay from where I'm at. I'm going to go to the bottom of the tree, and I'm going to focus on the actual, not the branch, the trunk of the tree.
So this artist is using one.
And I'm going to draw
one line
as I see them come up, and then I start seeing all these little leaves.
You don't have to
do that. For the leaves,
of
course, if I were to draw every single little leaf, I would be here forever. So I'm gonna look at the overall shape of the leaves that I see on the branch, and I'm gonna just create some squiggles to give the idea that the leaves are there. But then my eyes catch another branch, so now I'm gonna draw that branch. Come back down, draw another branch, and all of a sudden I am at the fence. So here is the wooden part of the fence. There's a wood fence there, another fence there, and here is the part of the fence that have rocks in it. So I'm gonna throw in those. How many rocks do I really see? Since there's not that many of them, I can actually probably draw things a little bit more accurate here, but not too much. Again, don't worry about exactly every little minute detail, but try to get some of that texture that you see. Here is a cement part that I see, and more wood. I'm starting to see, my glasses are falling again, sorry guys. I'm starting to see some leaves, a branch, and then I see my next tree. And as my eyes see the branch, I react to it. Okay, there's a curve to the left, curves up and down, another branch. And I'm starting to see some leaves again, so I'm gonna throw in some of those little, if you could, camera person, can you get a little bit of a close-up of how I'm doing the leaves? Okay. Again, you don't have to draw
squiggly lines.
The leaves exactly as you see them, because you're not gonna count them, okay? But try to get some of those leaves in there. I'm gonna come back to the fence, and that fence actually extends all the way to the end of my drawing. So does that cement part down there, okay? Now I keep on picking up my pen. I shouldn't be doing it, but I'm doing it because my glasses are falling, guys, okay? If you wear glasses, well, I understand why you would pick up your pen now. The grass area, all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create some texture so that you understand that it's grass. But of course, not like you're gonna draw every single little leaf of the grass, or every blade of grass. You can't.
No way. Yeah.
Okay. And that.
So, okay, this is a fantastic example of going outside, drawing what you see using just contour lines. Now, this is an art teacher. He's doing this example for his class, so I don't have to because he already did it. So, thanks, buddy. I don't know who you are, but you're great. I appreciate that you did this. Now, he's using one continuous line, more or less, to draw this scene. So he started doing that slide, and then this is all one line that connects, and as he moves over. If you would like to do your drawing that way, you can. You don't have to. They can be separate lines for the different areas. There's nothing wrong with that. So this is one way that you can do it, but it's not the only way to do it. You can draw any way that you want. I love that he, though, drew this just with a pen, because what I love about doing that is it means mistakes don't matter, because you can't erase it, you can't go back. So he's just doing it. You just make marks, you just commit, and you go for it. If you're not confident doing that, or you don't want to try it, you can do this in pencil. That's perfectly fine. But if you have a pen, any old pen laying around, or a marker would be a great tool to use for this project, because it does kind of get you out of the worry of, oh no, I made a mistake. Because you know what? You're going to. I do it all the time. I love drawing just with pens and markers. I make mistakes all the time, but you just leave them. That imperfection, sometimes I think, makes the drawings more interesting. Let's see if he has any good advice while we finish up.
That is a quick study of an outside scene.
Yes.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Now for yours, I just happen to draw the bottom part of it, but you could draw the top of the trees. If you can see a landscape maybe that is, the hills in the background, or some mountains.
We don't have.
Of course, if you're going to draw mountains, you better be somewhere where mountains are at. Okay. Do not draw any of this stuff using photographs. Don't draw things using imagination. No. This is strictly an observation drawing. Yes. It's got to be an observation exercise. So if you are outside, whatever you see, draw it. If you're drawing part of your backyard and you happen to have some stuff in your backyard, chairs, benches, I don't know, rundown car, or whatever, throw that stuff in there.
Yeah.
It makes your drawing more interesting. Remember, it is not about making a perfect drawing. It's about observing, learning to look at things, and how do I put them on paper.
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic advice. So here are the instructions for you, but then I'm going to give you just a couple of other tips. So you're going to bring your sketchbook outside, find an interesting point of view. Draw everything you see in that scene, including the ground, sky, trees, plants, objects, buildings, whatever it is, depending on your point of view. So in the example that we just watched, that artist was looking down, so he did not include any of the sky or the tops of the trees because they went off the edge of the paper. That's perfectly fine. If you were looking up and drawing those trees, right, you would also see the sky above them. So draw everything you see in the scene. You do not have to include people. So if you're out in public somewhere and there are people, you do not have to draw them. You can just draw the landscape or the buildings. So start with things that are closer to you. They are larger, and then move to things that are farther away. That will help you keep the proportions a little bit more accurate, and it will also help create the sense of depth. So start with things that are closer to you, and then finish the things that are farther away. Use only lines, no actual shading. Whether you draw with a pencil or a pen or a marker, it's totally up to you, but only lines. Fill the whole space. So as you watched that art teacher do in his example, he went right to the edges of the paper on all four sides. That's exactly what you want to do. Fill the whole space. Include detail. So, like I said, if there are objects there, draw them. If there are leaves on the trees, use some scribbly lines to delineate those. If there are bricks, try to draw them. Don't just say, nah, that's a wall. What kind of wall is it? Is there texture on it, right? Draw that. And then number 7, submit 2 different outdoor contour drawings. So the reason for this is that the art projects last a couple of days, and each of these drawings you do one in a sitting. So go outside, do one, and submit it. I will give you feedback on it. That way, when you go out and do the second one, you've gotten some one-on-one critique and response from me to really help make your second drawing amazing. Choose 2 different points of view or 2 different locations. So here are my suggestions for this project. You can go anywhere outside if you want to draw the front of your house, or you see, the scene across the street. Go for it. You can draw something in your backyard. You can go for a walk. One of my favorite things to do is to take my sketchbook to a location and then draw that. So maybe you go downtown and you're down there for a half an hour. Sit with your sketchbook, pick a cool part of the downtown area and draw it. Maybe you're at a friend's house, or you're going for a walk, or you're at a park or something. Sit and draw that. The only things I don't want you to do are like draw the ocean if you go to the beach, because there's not a lot that's there unless it's crowded and you draw people's umbrellas and beach chairs and stuff like that. So make sure that it's a detailed area. Challenge yourself. Try to find a really cool location and have fun. Now, if you need help, please let me know. Remember, there should be 2. Submit 1. I'll give you feedback, and then you can submit the other. Good luck.